Hey guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing and I'm going to give my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy A12. This phone is on sale at the time of this video. I'll have links down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The price is just $180, or you can pay a little more money to get better specs. My phone here has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage for $190. So this is the follow-up device to the Galaxy A11, which came out in early 2020. And this has been a really good phone. I've been happy with this phone for the price. But now, for the same price, you're getting the Galaxy A12, which has improved battery, improved RAM, a larger screen, a better camera system. There's some other goodies as well we'll talk about throughout the course of the video. But let's go ahead and check out the Galaxy A12. This phone comes in 4 different color options. We have white, this black color here, red, and blue. All right, really excited to check this one out. On top, we have our phone. Put that off to the side for a second. In the box here, have a pair of earbuds here. These are the cheapest earbuds Samsung offers in any of their phones, but it's nice that they offer them. We have a Type-C to Type-A charging cable. We have a 15-watt fast charging brick. Great to see a charger in the box. Have a SIM ejection tool. All right, the star of the show here, 6.5-inch display, quad camera setup, fingerprint sensor on the side. I absolutely love this. We'll get into more detail on that later. But now let's go ahead and check out the Galaxy A12. Wow, I'm already loving the look, the feel, the design of the Galaxy A12 over that of the Galaxy A11. This A11 is fine, but it has this glossy finish to it. The A12 has a matte finish, also have this cool ridged design on here. So very nice, and it has a nice solid feel to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall out of your hand. This gives you a little bit of extra grip. On the back here, you see we have a quad camera setup opposed to the triple lens setup here on the A11. And we'll get into those cameras a little bit later in the video, but taking a quick tour around the phone itself, we have our volume buttons on the top right here. We have our power button here on the side with that fingerprint sensor built in. Absolutely love that. On the left here, we have our SIM tray, which happens to be a dual SIM setup in addition to having a micro SD card slot. Nothing else on that left side. On the top, we have a mic. And on the bottom, we have a headphone jack, Type-C port, and our single bottom firing speaker. Overall here, feels like a really solid phone. It is a bit heavier because we have a larger battery in the A12 over the previous generation A11. This has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery opposed to the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. But let's go ahead and jump into the Galaxy A12. All right, so our first difference right off the bat here is on the Galaxy A12, we have a 6.5-inch display opposed to the 6.4-inch display on the Galaxy A11. Here on camera, it really doesn't look any difference in terms of that screen size. The reason that there is a bit of difference is that the A12 is just a little bit larger in size. So you can see that size difference there. At the top, it's just a little bit taller. And as a result, it has a slightly larger display. But here's a look at that 6.5-inch display. We have a decently sized chin on the bottom here, but overall nice rounded bezels. And we have a teardrop design for the front-facing camera here, but it doesn't look as aggressive as some other teardrop designed Samsung phones that I've previously reviewed on the channel. So I'm happy about that. It really doesn't look like it's going to be all that much intrusive, but I'm going to go ahead, put my information in the phone, and then we can take a much more detailed look at what seems to be a pretty good phone here for the price. All right, so it's actually the next day, but I've been using the Galaxy A12 for a little bit here, and I've been really enjoying this phone so far. So starting with the biometrics, getting into the phone, the fingerprint sensor on the side built into the power button, I absolutely love this feature. It has been working great so far. It is yet to fail on me. Every single time you just lay your thumb right on the sensor, you are right into your phone. You can also just press the button, and that'll also just get you in with your thumb on it. There is also facial recognition, which also works quite well. You can see it gets you in every single time. So love getting into this phone super quick. Next thing I want to jump into is just general use and navigation of the phone. Just going around your home screen and stuff, it's really not going to be that bad. It's pretty smooth. But you have to realize that this is a $180, $190 phone. So there are going to have to be some compromises, and probably the biggest compromise is just generally navigating the phone. So you can see here that it just is just a little bit sluggish when you're going through certain things. Certain animations won't be as smooth and crisp. So just kind of scrolling through here, you can see just looking at the comments and stuff, it might take a split second for some things to load, or when you're done in a certain app and you want to exit out, it might just take a split second longer than some other phones. But honestly, at the end of the day, for general use, as I was just generally using it last night for the better part of it, it honestly didn't really affect my overall experience all that much. And when you factor in all the other features that this phone packs, it is definitely still worth it in my opinion. One of those things being the 6.5-inch display. So for a phone this inexpensive, getting this large of a screen, I'm loving this display. And honestly, this really small teardrop, it really hasn't hindered my experience at all. I kind of like that it is just attached to the bezel and to the phone, opposed to being a completely separate camera like we have on the Galaxy A11 here. It just makes for an awkward space up in that top corner. What are you going to do with that little bit of space there? Probably not all too much. It's going to come down to personal preference, but really honestly, at the end of the day, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, and I'm really enjoying the display experience here on the A12. I do have to mention this is a 720p display, similar to that of the Galaxy A11, but honestly, it is fine for just watching YouTube, for just doing general use tasks. It's really not a deal breaker, especially at this price, and I'm really happy that we're getting some extra screen real estate here on the A12. It may not be noticeable side by side, but we are getting around an 85 to 86 screen to body ratio here on the Galaxy A12, compared to the Galaxy A11, which has around an 81% screen to body ratio. Getting another similarity out of the way is the audio quality. So again, did not notice much difference here in the bottom firing speaker of the Galaxy A12 compared to that of the A11. Just one difference you'll find is that the headphone jack is on the top on the A11 and it's on the bottom for the A12. But let's take a quick listen to that audio to show you that there really isn't too much difference between the two. One improvement we do have on the Galaxy A12 here is Bluetooth 5 connectivity, upgraded from Bluetooth 4.2 on the Galaxy A11. So that is going to improve our truly wireless earbud or headphone experience here. So if you use any sort of Galaxy Buds, this is going to be the phone you definitely want to go with. You're going to be getting that same great Bluetooth experience that you would get on any other higher end Samsung device. Another improvement that can't really be shown on video here, but I'll talk about it, is we have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery on the Galaxy A12, which is a great bump up in battery size. And I have a very small sample size to show you here of that battery in action. So I was watching YouTube for an hour last night, and it took up 10% of the battery. 1 hour and 17 minutes took up 10% of the battery. You're getting at least 10 hours of screen on time, 10 hours of watching YouTube content. I mean, that is an excellent battery. This is going to last you a few days. I love that the batteries are increasing in size on these phones. It does make it a bit heavier. That's probably the biggest difference I've found initially between this A12 and the A11 is the weight difference. This is a very slim and lightweight phone, and this does have a bit more weight to it. But what I've noticed with all these phones increasing the battery size and therefore getting heavier is that you just get used to it. And then once you're used to using this phone and used to how it feels in ways, you really just don't even notice that difference there. So I think that's a good change that is coming to these phones. Instead of just having a 1-day battery life, we're getting at least 2 days or 3 days to a week if you're a light user. So really happy that this has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery packed in it, same as the battery size it's going to be on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. All right, let's take a look at the gaming performance here on the Galaxy A12. I'm just going to boot up Stardew Valley, one of my favorite games to play. All right, taking a look here at Stardew Valley, there are a couple frame drops here and there, but all in all, it is completely playable. There's no major lag spikes or anything. You can see if you zoom out, there's a couple dropped frames, but if you're just doing the basic tasks here, It's really fine, and just scrolling through the different tools and stuff and moving around, and you can see that it runs well, it works well. I would say for light gaming, this is a great option. And then lastly, we have the new and improved camera setup here. So we have a 48 megapixel wide angle lens, we have a 5 megapixel ultra wide lens, and then we have a 2 megapixel macro lens and depth sensor. So just quickly jumping into the camera here, we have our standard, and we also have that wide angle lens. We have live focus, so you can get that bokeh effect. We have standard and also wide angle video. And we have a few different additional modes. We have pro photo, panorama mode, macro, and food. So you can use that macro to get real close to your subject, get some more detailed shots. See how close you can get to your subject there. This isn't a feature that I really use all that often. I'm not sure why they keep putting this into the phones. Maybe it's a cheaper camera and it's just more of an advertising point to say, hey, there's 4 cameras on this phone. The main focus is going to be that primary lens, but we'll be testing that over here for the next couple of weeks. I'll be sure to come back with a 12 days later review of this Galaxy A12. Initially here, first impressions, I'm very impressed with this phone. In terms of performance and just general use, there's really not that much of a difference over the Galaxy A11. So I think this Galaxy A12 is really just a refinement of that previous generation phone, and it's doing a very good job of it with a larger display, a larger battery, increased RAM, which I think is huge. The Galaxy A11 only had 2 gigabytes of RAM. This can be upgradable to 6 gigabytes of RAM, have 15-watt fast charging, headphone jack, fingerprint sensor built into the power button on the side. So nice getting into the phone every single time. It is a little thicker, a little heavier, but it has an excellent feel, a much better, much improved feel in the hand with this matte plastic, and just this ridged design just gives it a nice feel. And for $180 or $190, I can highly recommend the Galaxy A12. But what are your thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy A12? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to the Shane Symonds YouTube channel today, as only about 2.7% of you are actually subscribed. I hope to see you guys around for the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.